I was never very athletic growing up, and so I was in high school I was on the debate team and speech team and go to speech and debate tournaments. That was what I excelled at, and that's why I became a lawyer. You know.
So tell me, what is it like to go on a date with a judge?
I think it's about the same as going on a date with anybody else. It really, I mean, we're all
should
human
they bring
beings.
their attorney with them?
Yeah, they should bring their lawyer with them, and I'll bring mine and everything. But it's basically, it's the same as anybody else. I mean, you know, everybody has their own issues, their own insecurities, and everything else. And I think, as I said earlier, that's the biggest misconception of judges in some senses. I think people think that we're kind of in some way perfect and have this great stature and have so much deference and so much respect, and sometimes a judge can have something going bad in their life and they're having a really, really bad day and people don't know it, or you know, judge is in a bad mood. It's like, boy, what's his problem? And that can happen sometimes because, you know, we are all human beings, and so if you're on a date with me, I don't think it's any different than you go with anybody else.
Make sure you would go back the second day. Until the third day, that's when they get to know you a little
Yeah,
better.
it takes a few dates really to get to know somebody.
Just skip the first and second.
That's what I wish I could do, and just go right to the third, or
You
the
have to
or
draw
the
a
fifth,
contract.
or something like exactly like that. So.
Now, what about, do you have a favorite activity that you enjoy when you're going out on a date?
That's a great question. I think for a first date, it's the best thing to do is just go out for coffee or maybe lunch. Neutral location, so if you don't click,
Right.
you can get out of there quickly, and if you do click, you can extend the date and things like that. And then if the first date works, then usually the second date, maybe dinner, and then third date, you just go from there.
So I would imagine on a date with you, they should avoid talking about the legal system.
It doesn't matter to me. We can talk about anything, and so I've dated extremely few lawyers in my life, and that's not by choice. It's just that just hasn't come up. But I don't mind talking about my job. But the problem is, I don't want the date to be all about me. Yeah, and because I want to know about the other person and what their interests are and what their life is all about. And if I'm just talking about what I did in court today and spend the whole day talking about that, they're just going to think, geez, this guy's so self-centered, all he wants to do is talk about himself. So I have to be careful about that. I find the two most difficult dates are the person who talks only about himself, and the worst type of date is the person that doesn't talk at all, and you have to almost wrestle information out of him, question, answer, and the conversation doesn't flow. And that is probably because that person is just as shy as I am to a certain extent, and maybe having some difficulty opening up. So
now, as a judge, can you share information with the spouse? Or is that,
you know, as far as pending cases, you're really not supposed to talk about them, but I would think that probably most judges talk about their cases with their spouse. I just think that probably happens. I think if you're have a long day where you have a victim of child molest testifying, and it's very difficult and it's very emotional, I can't see how you wouldn't, you know, if you got home to your spouse, just say, honey, oh my God, this is what I listened to today. It was just horrible. I think that's just, you know, human nature to do.
are there any cases actually, you know, not too serious, lighthearted?
Hard to say. Not one that I can think of right off the top. I mean, because, you know, anytime you're in court, you got somebody being prosecuted for a crime, which isn't fun, or you have somebody who's suing somebody in a lawsuit. So that's not fun either. Absolutely the best part of my job, I just started a new assignment at juvenile court. And I like that because unlike adult court with its emphasis on punishment, juvenile court, you emphasize hopefully rehabilitating the kid, making him better, turning his life around. But every Friday morning I get to do the adoptions, and there's usually 4 or 5 of them. And sometimes we have same-sex adoptions where you'll have like a biological mother and she wants her partner to be the second mother, or you have a step-parent who wants to be the legal parent. And that's the joyous occasion where everybody wants to be in court and people bring their cameras and it's wonderful and it's fun and it's joyful and there's laughter and but that's about it as far as and there are definitely funny moments in court where things happen, but I just off the top of my head I can't remember one.
You know, being a judge, I would imagine many of your gay friends would like you to marry them.
Yes, and two of my very closest friends, I did their marriage last year, which was a big honor. And some of my other friends that are in committed relationships decided not to get married. But that's just, you know, different for different people.
Well, so if you do get married, here you go. Just kidding.
Well, right now, unfortunately, it's not legal. There was about a 1-year window period, but hopefully that'll change, and it will. It may take a few years. Right? It's just a matter of time. There's no doubt about it.
So what happened in Massachusetts is not very encouraging.
Maine. It was in Maine.
Sorry, it's Maine. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I look at it in one sense. It was a bad result, but still you had almost 48% of the people, and similarly in California, who voted yes to gay marriage. Even 10 years ago, if you would have thought that we could get close to 50%, people would have said you're crazy. I mean, 10 years ago, the idea of gay marriage was just something that people thought was never going to happen or might happen in 50 years or something like that. And so you still got in California with Proposition 8, with all of the propaganda spread by the Yes on 8 people, we still came close to 50% of the vote. So it's just a matter of time. And so I try to look at the positive aspects of that and say, okay, we lost 52%, but I think around 7 or 8 years ago, we only got 40%, you know, voting for gay marriage. So we've now raised it to 48% in California, and just get it over the hump. And the next time it's on the ballot, which is probably going to be in about 3 years. And I think I'll bet by then, if we run a good campaign, it'll pass, and I'll be able to marry my gay friends again.
And also yourself.
That would be great, because that's my biggest goal in life, I think. Because professionally, I've met my professional goal. I mean, I plan to stay in my job until I retire. This is where I want to be. I did the lawyer stuff. I don't have any desire to have any other job. So now it's more time to focus on my personal life. And yeah, to get married and going on a honeymoon somewhere, that's you know, my dream. So
have you picked out a destination?
Not yet. Someplace with a beach.
Sounds good.
Maybe Hawaii.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Has been a great conversation, and I definitely look at the judge differently going forward.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.